5:13 now on CCO Radio. We'll talk to Shane Coen after the 5:30 news. He's the founder, CEO, and principal of Coen & Partners. Did you see the story in the paper? So Saudi Arabia's somebody or another over there wants to build some sort of super-duper park. I mean, the way they do in the Middle East, nothing is simple, right? It's going to be gigantic. It's going to be huge.
Like have its own island.
Exactly, and ski slope and all of that. And so then they wanted submissions. And they actually reached out to this Minnesota firm that's known for good outdoor contextual designs. And they said, we're going to pass. This doesn't sound like our cup of tea, which is kind of crazy, but that's what they said.
The local firm
said
no,
they said,
thanks.
We're going to pass. No, we don't even want to bid. And then they got back to him right away and said, no, we really want you to do this. Draw up what you think this park will look like and what it'll cost and do that. And so they said, all right. And then they threw together this dreamy thing. 5 metal sand dune shaped things under which you could have plants and shade and activities. And there'd be 5 of them. Each of these dune shaped metal structures overhead are the size of 3 Minneapolis city blocks.
My goodness.
So 15 city blocks, if you will, of stuff. And they, all right, how about this one? And before they got on the plane, they said, you're it. You get the contract. There were firms from all around the world there, and they pretty much just brushed all of them aside and said, Minnesota, you win. Boom.
Wow.
This is an interesting thing, too. When you're designing a park for different parts of the world where men and women are segregated, you have to have an area for the men over here and an area for the women over there, or find a way to accommodate what the customs are in each country. And so they were very smart about that when they put their design together. The CEO of the company is going to come in after 5:30. I'm looking forward to that conversation. So that's a heck of a story about this small landscape architecture firm in Minnesota going to go to work on a 1,200 plus size, 1,200 acre plus park in Saudi Arabia. At least I think that's how the story goes. Shane Coen's on the line. He's the founder and CEO of that firm. Hi, Shane. It's John Williams. How are you?
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on.
What a story, man.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been really a great experience thus far.
Coen & Partners is you. How long have you been in business?
We opened, it'll be 24 years ago.
So you've been doing it for a while. And
yeah.
then are you well known? Like, do people know that for interesting outdoor landscape architecture, are you the go-to company, you guys?
Well, we are the recipient of the 2015 Cooper Hewitt National Design Award by the Smithsonian. So that's of a recognition that certainly elevates us to one of the hopefully elite design minds in the world. We certainly try to be part of that group and strive for that all the time.
What have I seen of yours in the Twin Cities?
Twin Cities, about 20 to 25% of our work historically has been in the Twin Cities, but there's several pieces along the Nicollet Mall, the Central Library, the Plaza at Excel Energy Center, and the Copper Scrim in front of the Westminster Church are 3 kind of little gyms that go up that street. And I live in a project that we started 15 years ago out in Marine on St. Croix, which is Jackson Meadow, which is a ecologically sensitive architectural community in the oldest town in Minnesota.
So when somebody's putting up a building or a thing, and then they've got some space around it, they go, now what do we do with this? What are we going to do with that? And so then you come in and say, all right, well, how about you do this? How about you do that?
Well, yes, but we try to be more proactive in the process. I think landscape architects have been positioning themselves in the last decade to really lead citywide initiatives, citywide infrastructure initiatives, open space, and development, which is essentially what we got invited to Riyadh to do and something that we're doing in multiple cities throughout the U.S. right now.
And the world, as I understand it. I want to talk to you about this Riyadh plan, but just real quick before we go there, do you have any involvement with the redevelopment of Nicollet Mall?
Yes. I mean, Jim Corner's a close friend of mine, and actually we called him up originally and really encouraged him to go after the project. It seemed like a perfect fit for Minneapolis and what we understood the city was looking for at that time, and we teamed with him really as support. Our role hasn't been I think every project we've ever done, we've had a lead design role in. This has been a support role to Jim, and what we've really focused on and his team is the plants for really the selection of a really hardy selection of plants that will move up and down the mall. So
we need more we need more usable, pleasant, functional outdoor space in Minneapolis and St. Paul, don't you think? I'm talking about in the city proper, not in the outlying parts of the city, but in the downtowns. I think we need more usable outdoor space. Would you agree?
Oh, we absolutely do. I'm on the jury for the AI in New York this week, and I was just going through 365 submittals, and you can't believe how many of those in a city that size are vacating large streets and tracts of land to bring even more green space to that city. And all cities in the U.S. are thinking like this now, and we've started to get some great initiatives here ourselves, and we need to continue that.
Yeah, I hope they get this Nicollet Mall thing right. I hope we have an outdoor music space. I hope we have some shade. I hope we have a place I can bring my brown bag lunch and not worry about getting hit by a bus. I mean, are you optimistic about that project, Shane?
No, I am. We hit it at a really bad timing with the bidding climate. That's the reality. Things are good right now in the economy. It's a fantastic project. The team has been amazing. The city has been, super collaborative and proactive, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to get a great project out of it.
Did I tell the story correctly? So they contacted you about this Riyadh thing, and you guys said, no, thanks, we actually don't think that's our thing, and you passed on it, and then they called back and said, no, we really want you to submit a bid on this, and then you did, and they accepted your bid right away.
Yeah, it wasn't really a bid. It was a vision. It was an initial analysis. So when we first saw the project, it didn't jump out at us. We've always focused on projects that get built, and we thought it was a planning project, so we declined. And then they asked us to come over there and spend 3 days analyzing the site, and then present to the High Commission our observations and what we believed really would be the opportunities for such a project.
How much is this project going to cost to build?
Well, the cost estimate is significant. It's not a disclosed number at this time. It's one of the, if you were to compare it to something in the Twin Cities, imagine Central Park. This project is the same exact size as Central Park, and it's not just park.
New York Central Park.
New York Central Park. So it's that same amount of acreage. So it's and all the infrastructure and the development patterns that would be happening. It's not just a park. It's actually 25% of it's.
So we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Correct.
Are we talking billions of dollars?
Yeah, it's in the billions.
Well, at least then you go, all right, well, now we do have room for the pavers. I mean, Lord, now you do. So then you've got this gigantic space, a reasonable budget, although they've had what they call austerity. I'm using air quotes now in Saudi Arabia because oil is down, but they'll have the money to build pretty much whatever you think that they want. But I was thinking it's 120 degrees literally in Saudi Arabia. So how do you have an outdoor space? Who wants to go outside over there?
That's kind of a misconception. I was there last week, and it was 78 degrees.
Oh, yeah, but in February.
In February, yeah. So it's not unlike Minnesota. I mean, this has been a really warm winter, but the spring, summer, fall is really kind of gorgeous over there, and the summer is really hot. It's just almost exactly like Phoenix, but it doesn't feel quite as hot as Phoenix. Huh. But it's hot, it's very hot. So it was a requirement that of the public park open space that you actually have to cover approximately 50% of it. So that when we went into the project designing this kind of large urban park, which is to be the first public realm park in Riyadh, really for the people, something the size of, say, Millennium Park in Chicago, 50% of that needed to be covered.
So you've built kind of a metal canopy overhead, right?
Correct, yeah. Five metal canopies that were inspired by star-shaped sand dunes, which that's the only part of the world that has this is the highest concentration of these star-shaped sand dunes, which were quite inspirational.
Oh, they actually have sand dunes in that shape. So then you said, let's build something like that. Did you have to segregate men and women, or what was the thought process along those lines?
No, the first rural urban public realm park outside of Riyadh was just built called the Wadi Hanif, and that's the first public park that does not segregate men and women. And we went into this project that actually never came up. We were just asked to improve the environmental quality of the area by designing a new open space system and development pattern.
Did they speak to you about that at all, like about that requirement?
They never did. They said we want this to be like a great park. Millennium Park was a reference to many of the great parks in the United States, and we were asked to really kind of bring that vitality to the area and to the district.
One last thing, Millennium Park has some signature pieces. Maybe this will be the star-shaped dunes that you've created, but the bean and the water pool and the reflecting sort of boards with the faces. Do you have something in mind like that? Some sort of stunning piece of interactive art?
Well, we've assembled an amazing team. So we're working with this incredible architects out of Los Angeles, Shubin Donaldson, Arup, the world's leading engineer, and one of the world's leading structural engineers out of New York, Guy Nordenson. All have worked on these star-shaped canopies as these iconic sculptural elements that will also bring shade. Yep. Now, in addition to that, we have a series of sculptural elements that we'll be working on and definitely promoting artists. We're early in the process.
Are you hiring, by the way, Shane? You need anybody else to help you out with this thing? This sounds like fun.
We're absolutely going to have to do that. So it's exciting time.
Congratulations. What a great story, Shane. Let's stay in touch about this and, for that matter, other local outdoor architectural issues for us as well.
Absolutely, John. Thanks so much.
Congratulations again to you and everybody over there at Shane Coen.